playtime is over. Get your Prepared Mind merchandise at thepreparedmind.club. Help keep free speech free and spread the word about the need to prep. Hello everyone, John here, your host on the Prepared Mind channel. What's this glass say? The Old Man's Club. Beware the old man in a world where men die young. You're going to enjoy this. And I should probably warn you now, if you're easily offended at harsh language, you may want to walk out of the room or shut the video off. Alright, welcome back everyone. This news article came across my desk today. The headline read, Muslim teen watched jihadi videos, read Quran for courage, before Florida sleepover stabbings, cops say. Fox News, March 14th, 2018. Look down below. Jolene's going to put the link. So, I want to start by showing a picture of the bad guy. There he is, right there. Get a look at that face. Look at those little beady eyes, that pointy chin. I'm not going to profile this kid, but when I saw that, I immediately said, that looks like that little prick, that David Hogg kid. And I put his picture right next to it. Little upturned nose, little pointy chin, little small mouth, big forehead. Almost looks like an alien hybrid to me. I don't know if I can trust a guy like that, but you know, I'm not a galactic racist that way. Instead, I look at the content of what people say. That's right, I look at the content of what they say and I decide then if they're worth a shit or not. So I want to go over a little bit of what happened. This was a Florida teen. So was David Hogg, by the way. Florida teen. What's in the water in Florida? You know, I actually like Floridians. I know quite a few brothers down there. I don't know what's wrong with the teenagers, but it says here, a Florida teenager who had previously been investigated for alleged violent tendencies watched jihadi videos and read the Quran to give himself courage before stabbing a 13-year-old boy to death and seriously injuring two others at a birthday sleepover Monday. This kid, the bad guy, Corey Johnson, age 17, that's a pretty tough jihadi, don't you think? He's stabbing a 13-year-old and he's 17. He was charged with first-degree murder and attempted first-degree murder after police said he confessed to the assault. I'm sure the bloody knife in his hand gave him away. Jupiter Police, Palm Beach County School District Police, and the FBI previously received intelligence gathering on this Johnson punk that prompted an investigation into his tendencies. Johnson, that's the little punk, reportedly told police that he woke up at 4 a.m. Monday at Kyle Bancroft's home and had an urge to kill Kyle's mother, Elaine Simon, Kyle's brother, 13-year-old Dane Bancroft, and Dane's friend, 13-year-old Giovanni Sierra. The three victims were each asleep at the time, the Post reported. In his statement, Johnson advised he stabbed the victims because of his Muslim faith. This kid confessed to this. Johnson and Kyle Bancroft allegedly watched violent jihadi videos the night before the 17-year-old carried out the deadly stabbing using the knife he brought to the home. So Johnson, I think they should get him on premeditated first-degree murder. He brought a knife there. He's probably the one who advised they watch the videos, and then he just happened to wake up while everyone was asleep and decided it'd be a good idea to kill him because of his faith. Simon, apparently hearing Sierra moaning in pain, began walking upstairs around 6 a.m. when Johnson allegedly lunged at her. Police say he stabbed her at least a dozen times before she fell down the stairs. Simon is Elaine Simon, the other victim's mom. Dane was stabbed 32 times while attempting to help his mother, according to the Palm Beach Post. I don't know if you noticed this, but he woke up at 4 and this stabbing didn't start till 6. What was he doing? Sharpening his fucking knife for almost 2 hours? Okay, now, speaking of the boy who saved the mother, he's a hero, said the boy's father. He saved his mom. That's a brave kid. Got stabbed 32 times. They ought to look into commending that kid. Sierra was pronounced dead at the scene. Kyle Bancroft and Johnson were not harmed in the incident, Johnson being the murdering little punk. She rang my bell. She's bleeding, the neighbors said later. Corey Johnson is out there with a knife. He's a murderer. That's all I know. They're trying to help the kids filled with blood. Law enforcement officials at the time investigated Johnson by tracking his social media accounts and movements and interviewing his family. The teen was also being investigated for several threats that prompted evacuations at a British school in October 2016. Let's get a look at this kid again, one more time. Apparently, he's not American. Apparently, he's English. Apparently, he's Muslim. Apparently, he looks like this kid, in my opinion. So, what's going on here? Right? This kid here, this one here, David Hogg, has been accused of being a crisis actor. Let me say that again. Crisis actor. He's a crisis actor. That's what he's accused of being. Looks like this other kid. They both look like... I don't like them. I don't like the way they look. And I know that's not the nicest thing to say. But this one here is a murderer. This one here thinks he knows everything. So, I'm going to start by saying that knives don't kill. Knives don't kill people. I don't hear anyone saying we need to ban assault knives. We need to ban hunting knives, kitchen knives, any knife with an edge. No one's calling for it. No one's calling for banning of cardboard boxes and tape. Anything that could be used to make a parcel bomb. No one's saying that. And guns don't kill people either, but we need to ban them. That's what this little prick right here. That little prick, David Hogg, he's a little prick. He needs to learn his lesson about politics. He's just a punk kid. But we're going to get into him some more here in a minute. It's not the weapon that kills. It would have been nice if the one kid had a gun to shoot the knifist, the murdering knifist, instead of saying like shooter. He's a knifist. It would have been great if he had a gun to defend his mother. It would have been great. It would have stopped a lot of stabbing and bleeding because this insane British Muslim guy that moved down to Florida, you know, what's on his fucking mind? See, it's not the weapon. It's not the tool. It's not the tape. It's the ideology that kills. And that's what's critical here. It's ideology. Parkland shooter, right, whatever the hell his name was, I don't even want to remember his name. He was a hard wing, hard line, left wing, killer. The kid that shot that school up was a killer. He was left wing. He was so hardline that he believed that his thought process was right. His ideology, his communist, socialist, Democrat ideology is so strong. His identity and belief that he's correct, that he felt justified in using deadly force to punish people who did not agree with him. Let's just assume that he was the shooter and he's the one that did the killing. He believes so strongly that he can go around killing people. It's justifiable. That is hardline, radical thinking. The same way this punk is a hardline, radical religio killer. And he believes so strongly in his religion. Actually, he doesn't. He's too young to know what religion is. He's not a legal adult. What he is an indoctrinated fool. And he believed what he's been indoctrinated with as a minor human being. He's not a legal adult, he's a minor. He's been indoctrinated so severely that he believed he was justified in killing other human beings with a knife, the same way that asshole at Parkland is an indoctrinated fool. And he was 19. And he got a rifle and he went and killed people because he believed he was right. That it's okay when you believe so strongly in an indoctrinated, brainwashed condition, that it's okay to do that. Now what's interesting is when you find hardline, freedom-loving Americans, they don't do that to people. They say, hey, this is what I believe, I'm going over there, you believe what you want, you go wherever the hell you want. But people on the left, social communist scumbags, believe it's their job, their duty, their right to kill others. See, the Muslim was a killer, murderer, radical scumbag. And he believed that he was justified in doing this. He even confessed to the police, yeah, it was me, and this is what I thought, and this is why I did it. You see, these kids have a look on their face. And I'm going to talk about kids. And I've got 2 sons, both still teenagers, one out of high school, one in. I love them, but they're still minors. They're still learning. They're still learning knowledge and information. They're still learning how to think for themselves. I've raised them to think for themselves. I didn't raise them to believe what I believe and believe so strongly that they should run around and kill people. But that's the very thing that Muslims teach. And that's the very thing that radical left-wing ideology teaches. Thank you, Antifa. Thank you, communism. Thank you, Karl Marx. Thank you, Hillary Clinton. Thank you, George Soros. Thank you, Barack Hussein, Barry Soetoro, Obama, for helping fund and allow groups like that to continue to exist. Thank you, FBI, for failing to do your job down there. Thank you, Sheriff's Department, for standing outside Parkland High School and not going in to save those kids. You bunch of fucking cowards. Every last one of you stood outside. Tell you what, if I was a cop there, and their excuse was, well, they didn't have body cams on, so they weren't allowed to go in. If I heard people dying and screaming and I had a chance to help them, you go in, do your fucking job, take the reprimand and get fired for it. But at least you saved lives. That's what you're there for, you cowardly little pricks. Worried about your fucking job instead of someone else's kid? Cocksuckers. But you know, I'm a calm, rational kind of guy. But that's how I feel about it, guys. I needed to save my job instead of saving those kids. That tells you exactly how a lot of these crooked fucking cops think. There's a bunch of good cops. And there's a bunch of crooked fucking cops, too. Anyone that would save their job instead of saving some kid's hide. Fucking little wimps. Here we go. There's a second link down below. And it's to a video between Bill Maher, the news guy, and a kid named Cameron Kasky, who appeared with David Hogg. They appeared on this national television show. And Cameron Kasky, and the time is down below with the link also. Just fast forward to the time. Watch the whole thing if you want. There's that middle part and then the part at the end. There's a part where he says he's an actor. Okay? But Cameron Kasky, this little punk, and that's right, he's a punk. And he's a bitch punk at that. Says, how dare anyone criticize us until they've faced down an AR? We're the experts. And he points to himself. He's a 17-year-old. The only thing he can claim to be an expert at is playing video games. That's it. That's it. In order to be an expert, I guess we need to define what it is. How about doing a given profession for 5 years, 10 years? Right? In the trades, you have apprentices and you have journeymen. You have to get degrees in advanced studies, professional degrees, before you get to say you're an expert. Getting shot at or being in a school, because he says until you've been in a classroom locked where kids are sending texts to their parents because they're scared to death, until then you don't have a right to talk. Fuck you, you little punk. Right? Not to, until you've been on the receiving end of an AR. How about being on the receiving end of being shot at, shot, stabbed, having the shit beat out of you, having a tooth knocked out of your head or busted and cracked, being kicked on the ground, waylaid by 3, 4, 5 different guys? How about when you get there, you little prick, then you come talk to me? Fuck. You're in a school and you're a victim, and now you're an expert, and no one can criticize you. Now, what's fascinating about this, and it's important to understand, is that's how left-wing people think. He's convinced, he's been given a script as far as I'm concerned, and he's reading from that script, and he thinks that he's an expert because someone told him he is. I won't even claim to be a combat expert. Right? I'm not this expert and that expert. I'm expert at being John. If this kid wants to say, hey, I experienced this, fine. But don't tell me you're an expert and I don't get to talk. Don't tell me you're an expert and you now get to say that my rights don't exist. That we have to change the Constitution. We have to say no longer is God correct, but we have to, as men, change the laws on earth. Because some fucking punk kid now claims to be an expert. The temerity! But that's what radical left-wing thinking is all about. They are right. They're always right. You cannot question them. Anyone can question me. Anyone can yell at the screen right now. Tell me I'm wrong. John, you're being too hard on these pussies. Yeah, they're pussies. They haven't done anything. Now, if he charged the kid with the gun, I would say he gets some kind of hero status. The same way that other kid who was a ROTC or junior ROTC cadet type guy, they were prepared to beat the shit out of somebody. There's witnesses to that. Kids were in the class and they stood by the door and were going to beat the hell out of them if they came through it. That shows some courage, for God's sake. Right? But this kid wants to sit up there with David Hogg, who looks like he's a crisis actor. Everyone's calling him a crisis actor. And while I'm on that, this other kid, this Cameron Putz, actually says, I'm an actor. Goes on to brag a little about his acting experience. I'm surprised he didn't say he's a fucking expert at acting. But I think he is. I think he's an expert little actor. Just like David Hogg. And they're willing to get up in front of a camera and act. Act like they're upset and scared, and act like they're correct. Act like they have authority. Give me a fucking break. The word kowtowing was used in an email I got describing how people are acting around these little punks. You don't kowtow to that. You don't kowtow to that. Every veteran I know, they don't demand victim status and that people worship them and listen to them. They just want to be left alone. Some of them will wear their hat, says veteran on it. But they don't run around screaming and yelling and wanting accolades just because they're still breathing oxygen. I wrote some funny notes. These are Teenage Mutant Ninja political hacks, is what they are. That's all they are. They don't know anything. They don't know anything. But these kids are getting out of hand. They believe that they have the authority to tell adults what to do. The little punk Cameron at the very end of the video, if you want, stop this one anytime and go watch his. At the end of the video says, we're going to fix things that you guys fucked up. Talking to us. Talking to older millennials. Talking to Gen X. Talking to baby boomers. That we fucked up? Since I could vote, I've been trying to fix this fucking country. And I fucked it up. I get the blame for it? It's radical left-wing cocksuckers that are the ones that are killing people. not to mention government false flags and paranoid, lunatic, power-mad, megalomaniac politicians that think they own everyone and everything, and that they'll just send people to war to get what they want. They're the fucked up ones. We're trying to get rid of them. You know what cracked me up is those two kids sat there and they kind of let off like, oh yeah, we're politically neutral, you know, we're not Democrats or Republicans. That's their attitude. You know, we just know what's right. Because, you know, 17-year-old kids, they're born with wisdom. And they're born with experience. And they're born with intuition, moral, you know, they've got, they can morally discern right from wrong from a distance. Give me a fucking break. That's where this world is going. We start listening to children tell us stuff. We start listening to people like Nancy Pelosi who says we're going to pass the bill before we read it. We're going to listen to Hillary Clintons of the world who say, what does it matter now? I don't care if I cause the deaths of dozens of people and more. What difference does it make now? That's the world we live in. That's the shit that's coming at. Why do you think I say, hey, have food, have water, have shelter, have clothing, have medicine, have a plan, understand. Understand what's going on out there. It's not just in D.C. It's not just in Wall Street. It's in every single school where they're teaching this shit. Every single college where they're teaching communist propaganda as truth, as verifiable. Somehow they verify it as truth. Somehow they decide it's true, and then somehow they decide that what they've learned in college is so real, so true, so vital that anything that would contradict it is the equivalent of a physical assault, and they have therefore the right to defend themselves by physically assaulting you because of your words and your thoughts. If you don't agree with them instantly, you're a fascist. Just incredible. And now I'm going to go one step further. The town I'm in, my son is attending the high school. He's going to graduate. He's going to graduate. Unfortunately, he's not going to get a diploma. Why? Because the California school is not accredited with the state of California anymore. Why? Because they can't get their shit together. Now, a lot of us older people like to say, you know, it's not as hard these days in school. Right? They're not teaching these kids. Yeah, they're teaching them stuff. Kids are learning. And they talk about how the education has gone downhill in this country. You see, it's not the kids who are failing. The kids are brilliant. But they're being indoctrinated with feminist shit and communist babble. And being told that you have to accept all the LGBTQ, Muslim, and other radical communist crap. My kid could end up graduating from a school that is not accredited because they can't get their shit together. Now, I'm not going to talk about all the sales tax I pay locally, all of the county property tax I've paid, all of the state income tax I've paid, all of the federal income tax, all of the other social taxes. Let's not talk about all my development fees and mitigation costs I paid to the cities and counties. Let's not talk about all of the direct school taxes I paid doing developments that go directly to the school. No, wait, let's talk about all those things. I've done that. Tens of thousands of dollars. Maybe even into the hundreds and several hundreds of thousands total. If you aggregated all my entire adult life, which means from the time I was 18 and older, you little pricks in Florida. I paid all that money, me, one man! And you can't keep a fucking high school accredited? No wonder these kids, they're probably dying to be instructed and taught. But instead of being taught reading, writing, arithmetic, right, the 3 R's, instead of being taught real history, how about something like this? Hey, let's call it philosophy. Teach them how to think. Instead, they're starving to be taught. My son tells me how he loves the teachers he loves, the good ones, because they're teaching. They're real human beings. And the other ones are political hacks, and the kids don't respect them. My son just happens to be a thinking type kid, and he has thinking type friends, and they sit down and they talk about how stupid school is because of this other crap that's going on in it. The attempts at indoctrination. So these other kids, let's just call them left-wing leaning lunatics. They get in there, and instead of learning reading and writing and arithmetic, they learn Communist Manifesto. They learn feminist horseshit theory. And they take it to heart, and they gobble it up because they're trying to learn something, damn it. Their brains are soft little, absorbent, mushy things that want knowledge. But that's all they're given, is social media crap and LGBTQ softcore crap. It's actually not softcore anymore, it's pretty hardcore. And if you dare say anything about it, you're going to get suspended for bullying them. Because they should be allowed to wear furry ears and makeup on their face and have tails sticking out their pants and run around and act like animals, literally. Dogs and cats and fucking raccoons and squirrels and beavers and shit. That's school? Go there and act like an animal, literally? And people are expected to not say anything? We used to beat people up like that. That's right. We would beat up people who were that fucking stupid. Oh, God. All right. Yeah, John, you were a bully. How dare you make fun of someone who is so fucking stupid? All right? Damn right we made fun of him. Told him to straighten up and start acting like a human fucking being and stop acting like an idiot. You're not a child anymore. You're in high school. You're almost an adult. Start acting like a fucking man. Wow. This is what's going on, folks. Guys like this are stabbing people to death. Guys like this are saying you can't have a gun and protect yourself because he's an expert at age 17. That's where this world is going. Get prepared. Get it. Get it together. We're going to hell in a fucking handbasket. God's judgment is going to come down. Look out. It's going to be your ass. I've got a great joke. This is an old joke I used to tell. All right, so this guy, he's at his house. There's a flood coming. Sheriff's deputy walks up, knocks on the door, says, "Hey, flood's coming. Get out of here. I'll take you out." And the guy says, "Nope, God will save me." Water starts rising. He goes up to the second story of his house. Sheriff's boat pulls up. Says, "Hey, get in the boat. Water's getting higher. Right? We got to get you out of here. Evacuate." Guy says, "Nope, God's going to save me." The cop goes, "I'm getting the hell out of here." Off he goes. Water keeps going higher. Guy gets on the top of the roof. Sheriff's helicopter comes by. Goes, "Water's getting higher. Get in the helicopter." The guy says, "Nope, God will save me." Water goes up, drowns, kills the guy. He's standing there in heaven. He talks to God, and God says, "Hey." He goes, "What are you doing here?" The guy says, "God, you were supposed to save me." He goes, "Wait a minute." He goes, "I sent a car, a boat, and a helicopter." Why didn't you listen? Right? Everyone, get prepared. Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense, and a plan. Go to thepreparedmind.club to look up stuff, to talk, blog, check out videos, shop. Prepper Connect, where you can meet up with other preppers. We've got a hell of a website over there. You guys pay for it. You should use it. Take advantage of the savings you get. Everything that's sold there goes through Amazon, and I know it's not a local business, but right now, people... Everyone's saying, "I need stuff and I can't afford everything I need," then save all the money you can. It's too late to save the mom and pop stores. America's going downhill to more hell in a handbasket. Buy what you need. If you don't buy it from me, buy it from someone else, but get it done. Get prepared, because chance favors. The prepared mind is yours. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'll talk to you guys again real soon. Stay frosty. Godspeed. See you later.